Hey guys, welcome to Manifesting Better. I'm back with another video and another topic that needs to be addressed. I also have an Instagram account, the link for that is in the description box below. Coaching is also available, the link for that too is in the description box below. Hey guys, hope you're well. So in this video, I want to talk about a few things to avoid while manifesting wealth. Now, I don't usually make videos on wealth because I feel that most of my videos are on general topics and it includes how to manifest anything. So the same principles apply here. But I was getting a few questions from people and a few comments on my YouTube channel where they wanted me to make a separate video on wealth because a lot of people said that we need some specificities and there were some specific questions that were coming up. There are many misconceptions that I will clear. So I'm going to be talking about 5 points. Make sure to watch this video till the end because it will be connected and it will make sense by the end. So let's just directly get into it and understand the points on how to manifest wealth. The first thing which before I start, so we can call it point zero, is to understand that manifesting wealth is different for each person, right? And because we have different outlets, because we, again, similar to any other situation, we are all coming from a different past. We all have different definitions of how we view wealth, how we view wealthy people, what ways through which we want wealth, what are the reasons why we want wealth that way. And a lot of times we are just actually projecting not being uncertain, not getting out of our comfort zone, action when it comes to wealth. And now these are separate topics and I will try to make content on each and every one of them separately. And I will also be making a follow-up video on how to manifest it, right? So in here, I'm going to be talking about a few points that you need to absolutely avoid. Now, if you have been following me for a while and you have been taking the general content that I put in, then you are already on your way to applying these teachings already in a way which is helpful to you. And if you are making these mistakes, then let's directly get into it. So the first point of manifesting wealth, and this usually comes up from a lot of people who have watched the movie or read the book The Secret, where in the law of attraction community, usually it is said that if you want wealth, you should overspend. Spend all the money that you have. I remember reading that book years back, and there is a lot of good information there, but there is a lot of misinformation there too. So there was this one line which said that if you want to manifest wealth, spend all the money that you have. I remember this one person gave this example that I spent all the money that I had and then money just started coming to me. Now this is where it becomes subjective. So my first advice would be avoid overspending when you are manifesting wealth. See, it's not that I'm telling you to stop spending, right? I am telling you that if you only have a limited amount of budget at a particular amount of time, right now, let's say you don't have wealth. For example, let's say you have $100 in your account. Now, if you spend that $100 and you know that in the next week you won't have money for groceries and you won't have money for food and you won't have money to travel, then doing that is eventually going to make you feel poorer. It's not going to make you feel wealthy. So the feeling that it will bring inside of you is not of wealth and abundance. Now, if spending that money, if spending all your $100 away is making you feel abundant, is making you feel more powerful, is making you feel that I can get more money out of the blue, then absolutely do it. But if you are just overspending because that book said so and it's making you feel poorer and it's just making you feel that I don't actually have any money right now and it's just making you triggered, then it does not make sense and it can be avoided. Sorry, like a note in the middle, my dog is barking behind and sorry for the background noise. But yeah, if you are manifesting wealth, then overspending, if it is making you feel slightly poorer and it's not making you feel abundant, then it does not make sense. Don't do it. Focus more on the feeling that it provides. So if spending provides you a more powerful feeling, definitely do it. If spending does not provide you a powerful feeling, avoid it. Second, avoid creating patterns. Now, this is very common for people who are either manifesting a job, and this also goes in generally if you're manifesting anything. Avoid creating patterns where there are none. Now let me give you an example. Let's say when I first started manifesting years ago, I tried to manifest money. It did not work out for me, right? Then I tried it again. It did not work out for me. For the first 5 tries, it did not work out for me. Then I started focusing a lot on myself, on my beliefs, and then I started getting some money. Now, it may not have been the exact amount that I was wanting, but I still started getting a bit of money. Now, after getting that money, now later, what happens is after a few years, I try for a specific amount and it does not work out.
If in that moment I tell myself that, oh, you know what, manifesting wealth has never worked out for me, even 10 years ago when I first tried, it did not work out for me. Stop creating those patterns. It does not make sense. When you are creating that pattern, all you are saying is that I'm going to discard all the growth that I have had in myself over the past 10 years because it makes me right now, the way that I'm providing myself warmth is by making myself a victim of this situation, right? And by telling myself it never works out for me, because it at least gives me some sense of control. Because when I'm blaming myself, I am feeling like a victim, but it's me who's doing it to myself. So I'm not feeling uncertain, I'm actually feeling in control, right? And then I'm also getting warmth from other people that, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't work out for you. Now I understand how intriguing it can be to actually create a pattern where there isn't, right? Because it provides you this sense of security, and it provides you this sense of comfort, and it provides you a justification of why you're failing, right? But we don't want that justification, because even if we have a justification of why we are failing, we are still not succeeding. So we don't want to create patterns where there are none. I can just simply say that in this instance it did not work out for me, and maybe I can course correct. Now think about it this way, and this is a good way to identify if you're making a pattern. If a friend who does not have the past with wealth and does not have the inability, or did not have the financial crisis that you did, if he would be going through a similar set of rejection, how would his reaction be? Because that person wouldn't be making a catastrophe out of this. He would just be looking at it that, oh, I tried it, it did not work out, that's okay, it did not work out this time, instead of saying it hasn't worked out ever, right? And creating a pattern out of nothing. It only creates a pattern which you don't really want. So avoid that. Third thing, planning and budgeting. Now, this is where a lot of people have contradictory views. But most of the times when I see people talk about this, and sorry if this offends someone, but I'm just going to come across and say it. People who talk about, like, when someone is talking about wealth and manifesting wealth, you can see if they have it or not with the way that they are describing it. It's very, very evident. Because someone who does not have wealth and is telling you how to manifest wealth, they will explain it to you in a way where they will be telling you that, oh, you know what, you should never care about money. Money is just abundant coming to me. Spend without thinking. Go on that trip. This and that. The most wealthy people in the world are the people that you should be studying. And the most wealthy people in the world plan their wealth. They actually respect money a lot. They budget their money appropriately. Now, this does not mean that they are frugal and that they are not spending on anything. They appropriately are. They are actually enjoying their lives with the wealth that they have, but they are also focusing on investing. They are also focusing on how can I distinguish my needs, my wants. They also have accountants who are helping them. Now, if you are not in that stage where you need an accountant, that's a different thing, but you can be your own accountant. You can actually plan your wealth. A very simple way. And for anyone who wants to learn about this, there is this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. It's the basics, the first book that you should read about money. There are thousands of more books that you can read which will be helpful, but start with this. It's like a 100-page book which will be helpful. A simple way can be distinguish what my needs are, how much money do I spend on them, how much money do I spend on my wants, how much money do I spend on my investments. When I first started doing this, I thought that, you know, if I'm planning, maybe it's a sign of poverty. It was not a sign of poverty, it was a sign of wealth. Because all abundant people that I read, not people who are teaching me how to make wealth, but actual wealthy people, they were in a position where they were planning their wealth to the T. They knew how much they are going to spend on their luxurious wants. They knew how much they are going to spend on vacations. They knew how much allowance they have given themselves to spend on things that they want to. And when I started, my allowance was, maybe today I will buy a pair of shoes for myself. That's my allowance. That's my luxury. But when I used to buy it and I used to know that my needs, my investments, my future, all of it is getting taken care of simultaneously, it used to make me feel powerful. And I used to enjoy that pair of shoes more because I knew that it's all planned. When you respect money, money respects you back. That's one thing that I have learned. And I have come from a background where I had zero money, where I had $1 to my name and my whole family's name. Now in India, that's a little bit more. Like $1 is slightly more, but it's still very less. And we had to survive on that. And if I can come from there to now, when I'm not going to, you know, this is not a bragging session, but I have been, now I take care of my family, myself. Now I take care of my own expense. Like everything is taken care of by me. And It's because I have been planning. It's because I know that I'm always taken care of, because I have always respected money and I have always planned everything accordingly. So even when I go on trips, I spend on myself, I do things that I want, I buy a car, I'm not worried because I know it's all planned. I know that I have taken care of myself, I have taken care of my future kids. Everything is going to be taken care of because I'm planning appropriately. So planning is actually a very big sign of wealth. It's not something that you're doing because you don't have it. The next thing, stop escaping the now. So if you are someone who in this current moment does not have money, stop escaping that. A lot of times what happens is, in front of you, you have no money, right? You're telling yourself that I'm wealthy. Then you're getting triggered and you are getting resistance. All because you have misinterpreted the concept of ignore the 3D. Ignore the 3D does not mean that run away from what is in front of you. Accept it. Right now, I don't have wealth. I don't have money to maybe pay bills tomorrow. I am damn triggered because of it. That's totally fine. This does not mean that I cannot get money later. It just means that I don't have it now. And if in the now, maybe I'm asking a friend for help, or in some way, shape, or form, I'm gathering that money to pay the bill, it's not because I want to, it's because that's the necessity in the moment. If I just close my eyes and pretend it does not exist, it's only going to make me feel more triggered. Eventually, you will get to a level where even if you don't have the current wealth in front of you, it will not trigger you that much, because you know that eventually it comes down to like how you manifest it, and it comes down to it. But if you're just starting on it and you really don't have anything on your name right now, escaping the now is going to be something that is going to make you feel very triggered. I will give you an example of one of my clients. So she wants to become a musician and she has been working towards that. Now what happened is she moved countries, and I was just recently talking to her, I think 3 days back, about this, where she said that, when I moved, she had went to a lot of coaches before me, and all she heard was ignore the 3D, ignore the 3D, pretend you have wealth. And she said that I was so triggered all the time because I did not have money for lunch. And I was escaping that. I was telling myself I have wealth, but I was hungry. I did not have money to eat food. I told her, why don't you get a job for now while you are working on your music career? She said, fine. She just got a job. Getting that job, 2 days later, she got 3 income streams out of the blue. And one of them was the job, but 2 of them were supported and were in, towards her career, towards her music career. She started getting gigs. She started getting people reaching out to her. And she said that, once I got a job and I knew that there is some money that is going to come up to me, I just felt so nice. I slept so nicely. I actually felt abundant. I could actually embody the state of abundance, because when I was saying my affirmations that I am successful, it wasn't making me feel triggered, because my mind wasn't telling me, hey, you don't have money to eat food, because I knew I did. I knew I can have food tomorrow. I can go out on a restaurant. So it was helping her, and eventually other income streams are increasing and we are going towards dropping the job. That's the eventual goal. But in this current moment, that's what is making her feel abundant, which is helpful. Now, the last thing, which is going to be slightly contradictory to the first point, but I will explain, is stop running away from joy. Now, what this means is, a lot of times when we are manifesting wealth, there are 2-3 different kinds of situations. One situation is where we have zero, nothing, right? But one situation is we have a little bit, right? We have some money. We don't have as much as we want, but we are surviving. We can go to a restaurant. We can, buy a couple of t-shirts for myself. In those moments, after you have budgeted, after you have planned, don't worry about spending the money that you have actually allocated towards your wants. I have been, someone who has done this. I used to save money for my needs. Then I used to save money for my wants and investments. Then I used to not spend the money that I have, taken out for my wants, because I used to be very frugal with it. I used to think that, if I just spend it, it will go away. But once I started doing that, I started realizing, hey, I actually have a pretty good life. I am enjoying. That's when wealth started to double. So if there are things that you can easily afford and you actually want, do it. Spend money on it. Now, I'm not saying, just as I explained in the first point, spend all of it, but doing that is going to make you feel abundant. So I hope this video helps, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you have any video suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below and I will try to make a video on it.
Click the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe and turn the notifications on for more such content. Comment down your video suggestions and I will see you guys in the next one.